Welcome to these Sci-Fi guys, the show that you guys all love to watch because we're in it. Welcome to Independence Day, 4th of July. With me, as always, is John and Chad. This is actually take two for this week because we started doing it a few minutes earlier and then my internet decided to cut out. So if this one doesn't work, you may see it spliced in at a later point. So anyway, as you guys saw earlier, today we are doing Independence Day, the movie back from 1996. Um, Classic movie with Will Smith. Um, uh, his name's
Jeff
drawing a blank for
Goldblum.
some reason. Say it
Goldblum.
again.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, thank you, and Bill
Yep, there you go.
Paxton. There we go. Man, I could not think of his name there for a minute there. So to start off the show, first of all, everyone, happy Independence Day, 4th of July. We hope you guys have a safe, like if you're going to shoot off fireworks, make sure an adult's there, with water or fire extinguisher, what have you. But this is a different kind of fireworks that we're talking about on this show. Okay, John, I'm going to take it over to you since you're the one that picked the show.
Sounds very good. I mean, what better movie to watch during this time of the year than Independence Day? I think it just makes sense. So we're going to start off with a simple question, going back to one we've asked many times before, and just keep it simple. With what is your favorite scene from this film? I mean, there's plenty to choose from. I feel like. We'll kick it over to Chad to start us off.
Well, my favorite scene is when it actually Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum goes into the invades the mothership to infect it with the virus and shoot the nuke off. It's just the amount of spectator they were trying to do, and I love that scene that the conversation to get to know each other and then finally say, hey, alien, it's look at the human beings here, and shoot the nuke.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
How about
great
you, Dave?
too. Okay, for me, actually, okay, I'm going to get a little political here. Okay, the best scene is when the White House blew up. I'm sorry, because first of all, when this movie came out, uh, Bill Clinton was in office, and he was not my choice of president. And of course, with the current administration that's in the presidency right now, when I see the White House blowing up, I'm like, yeah, it needs to be done sometimes. But overall, that was probably my favorite scene, and then or at least my favorite effects. But actual scene is got to be the speech. When he gets up there and the president Bill Paxton, when he's up there and it is just it's next level of, hey, we're here, we're fighting for our survival. It doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, what creed you are. We're here as human beings to stand together and to fight these aliens. So anyway,
And I agree with
John.
definitely both of those ends. I mean, between the final scene and, of course, the speech, I think both of those serve very well at just kind of entertaining us and getting a good, quick hoorah uh, as an Independence Day film. Now, that being said, with an attack coming from aliens, especially as it's presented in this film, they just attacked major cities in the U.S. Do you think there's other cities that aliens would attack in the U.S. if they attack nowadays or elsewhere in the world? What do you think?
You mute Dave.
I'm muted. There we go. Hey, uh, for all over the world, all right. I don't think it would just be, I mean, and they said it in the movie that it was all over the world. Um, you know, I think a place like Qatar, or a lot of people pronounce it Qatar. Um, Dubai, definitely. When I'm talking overseas. Um, but in the United States, I think they pretty much hit it. I mean, they hit what? L.A., New York, Atlanta. I would say maybe add Dallas, Fort Worth on there. Some excuse me, your big major cities. However, the aliens did not do. Actually, I'm going to go full screen on this. Even the aliens did not go and do their homework, because if they would have done their homework, they would have taken out the military installations. I mean, you take out the military installations, there's no way you can fight back. So then you can just haphazardly, you can take your leisure and take out everything. But they didn't do that. They decided, hey, we're going to take out these, um, you know, these big cities. I think what was it, Chicago and
Uh, L-
Houston.
yeah, Houston, Chicago, DC, LA, a lot of big cities in there.
How about you, Chad?
Yeah,
What about you? What do you think? Would you do the same cities, different ones, or what?
I would have done. I agree with you. I would have done if they'd done the research and actually hit the military. I would have actually done DC. Put DC. I would have done your fighter base in Florida and a lot of your logistics hubs to stop them moving, and then start leisurely picking off these smaller targets. Now they did in the. I think I remember in the movie they did shoot. I think there was one in Egypt that went down. There was. I think they did shoot off in Paris. I think, and I can't. It's been a while, all right. But I would have done. I would have done LA. I would have. I would have waited until after you got the military base taken care of. So
I think that's fair on both ends. It does seem kind of interesting to me that it was like, kind of almost a world invasion. They're going to attack the U.S. I mean, I know military might, of course. I mean, it makes sense to attack the mightiest military, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting that they went with that idea. But then again, it's not Independence Day, unless you're going to attack around that time. Along those lines, too, though, do you think there's a more effective weapon they could have used in order to take out the mothership?
I don't think so. Not in today's technology. I mean, we have like at least the U.S. has like a beam type weapon, but if you got a shield up, it's just not going to do any. I mean, damage to it. I mean, I think a virus was the smartest way to get it done. Although I think in hindsight, um, especially with Area 51 being so, they're so far underground, they should have, okay, hey, let's take the mothership out and then just nuke all the ships. You know, a nuke is a whole lot more, than a Sidewinder or an AMRAM. You know, that's just my opinion. So, Chad, I mean, do you think anything?
no, I don't think nothing out there today can do what they did. I think the virus was the best shot. Now, yeah, you could have nuked all after you've done the virus, nuked everyone, but you won't have that scene like, "Hello, I'm coming home. It's Megan." Moment. So I don't think there's a weapon out there besides what they used then.
Yeah, I was gonna say in terms of what the film itself actually uses and what it needs for cinematography, I think it works extremely well for the story. I think the only change that we have nowadays, I mean, maybe guidance systems that would have been even just like negotiably more like effective. I mean, they're just very marginal, and I mean, they're just fighter jets and stuff out there that, I mean, are improvements, but they don't really change the outcome of the story. It's kind of the same exact outcome in terms of what we use now, just slight improvements over time.
Well, what's funny is I actually I did a little research on this, and the U.S. military was actually trying to help them do this movie until they mentioned Area 51. And then once they mentioned Area 51, they were like, okay, we're done with you. We're out of here. And so they had to do a lot of it. They just had to research a lot of it. And of course, the military finally came out and said in 2013, yes, there is an Area 51. We can't tell you what's in there, but there is an Area 51. I mean, everyone knew that it was there, but
There.
it was the first time that the government actually said, yes, there is one, but they wouldn't do anything about it. Um, or at least they would not acknowledge it. Let's see, that's the word I'm looking for. It's funny. In doing more research, I wanted to, before you get into the next question, uh, the where was it? Oh yeah, uh, All right, you want to know? Did you guys see the some of the bloopers that were in there that they left in? Like the president had 5 missiles. It showed on his thing 4,
Yeah.
but you remember at the beginning, he did Fox 3, and then he did another Fox 3, and then he ended up shooting another Fox 2, and then another. He killed another plane, and then he had one at the end. So there was actually 5 when it only showed 4 on his, on his display screen. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, John, you got another question for us?
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, if you could cast anybody in this film 27 years later, who might you cast to fulfill some of those roles?
I got to look something up, Chad. So why don't you go ahead and go with this first?
I'm waiting on you. Oh Lord, that's
Eh,
man. I think you can still do Will Smith. He's still an actor out there. But if you try to replace him, I would have done more out of Iris Elba. The I forget. Now, Jeff Goldblum, I don't think you can replace him other than you might try to fit the quirky of Jack Black in there, but nah, he's not going to do it. That's
Yeah, I can see some of those guys. I mean, the way I looked at it, one is I wanted somebody that I felt like could be an MIT grad, uh, actual MIT grad. So actually, I actually did some deeping on this. Okay, so um, I kind of did a little twist because I wanted to add some female leads in here too. That of course, this was in the early '90s, and the female leads weren't as big. But instead of Will Smith, which of course Will Smith is great, but and the way I look at it also is, being I'm retired Air Force, so one, the plane should have been Air Force. I mean, that would be, first of all, that would be the newest thing. All right, you got to have an F-22 up there. You need to have an F-23 or something. Even more so, if that's what you're going to do instead of the Marines. No offense to my Marine brothers. I love my Marine brothers, but it's just, it needs to be Air Force. For one. For two, the lead has to be somebody you could see in uniform, taking orders and giving orders. All right. So I was thinking maybe a Dwayne Johnson could do it.
he's out.
Just me in my head trying to. Can we just start a blooper reel of this whole episode? Ah, I wish you could see my setup right now, Chad. It's me holding a phone above another phone. Yes, you did. Yeah. So I have my questions on Maddie's phone above mine, and then I have mine doing the other section, which honestly, the way it's been working, I might start just using my phone in general. But it's been doing better than my laptop. It's just, gotta have stable data no matter what. You have that at the house either way. So, he had a good list running there, though.
Yeah.
Truly. The Rock was a good start.
Well, The Rock was a good start. I just don't see him being the fighter pilot. Like, see him be put into the small.
Well, I was gonna say he's too chunky.
Yeah.
And not in a fat way, but in a muscular way.
Yeah.
Fit no fighter jet. But I do get the point of the very military type. Like, The Rock plays that well.
That's why I was going with the Idris Elba.
Hey, it's Dave. He's back.
It's me.
Hey,
I got
it's
internet
me.
issues here. Sorry, guys. I don't know. I keep cutting in and out, so I'm glad y'all are just keep doing this, and I'll go back and watch it later.
Well, we were just like, oh, we hit the Rock. We don't know how well the Rock would land in a plane in terms of a fighter pilot, but he's a
Yeah,
bit
I wasn't sure
chunky.
about that. I wanted somebody, kind of. I wanted a star. I mean, somebody that would just bring in the crowds. Um, when it came to the MIT nerdy type graduate, I really like Seth Rogen. I think he would actually pull it off. Kind of have that little comedic role in there a little bit. Uh, I could see Tom Holland, or if you went with females, maybe Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, or I really like Pauline. I'm sorry, what I can't pronounce her name. Polly Perrette. She was on NCIS.
Yeah,
She was Abby.
Abby.
I love her. She's kind of goth. I just think she could have really done a lot with that role. And of course, for the president, I'd want somebody different. And honestly, you could probably even go with the star role with Michael B. Jordan. I think that would be he could really pull off either the main role or even as the president. Kind of like to see Pedro Pascal as president. Kind of have somebody with a
And he's out.
and I'm gone.
You're back. Are you still there, Dave?
I'm still here. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, and you said he's out. And I
Hey.
was like, oh great, it locked up again. So
Yeah, I'm like, it's about to lock up. Oh, man, he's out.
anyway, so we may have to
I mean,
end
I
this
think-
like really soon. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. I was just say I love the Tom Holland choice. I didn't consider that.
Yeah.
On the other side of the Michael B. Jordan conversation, if Chadwick Boseman was still alive, I think that would have been
Oh,
a
yes.
very good
Yeah.
fit as well.
Oh, I think he
But
would be
clearly,
a
I mean, that
fantastic
doesn't work out.
president. I think he would be a better role as a president rather than I'm just not sure he'd have the one-liners that Will Smith kind of did.
No,
I,
he wouldn't.
yeah.
No.
I mean, of course, it was the '90s when it was filmed.
I'll say it would take on
rather
a
than-
different feel, but
Yeah.
I think he could serve it well.
Yeah.
And then
Hey, let me
somebody like a
let me
Chris
pull
Evans
this
or
up here
something.
for you. I wanted y'all to see this. I actually saw this movie or advertisement for this movie way before the trailers ever came out. Back in '97, I was a NASCAR fan back then, and my favorite driver at the time, Kyle Petty, as you can see here, they actually had a sponsorship for Independence Day, and this was his car that he actually drove. It doesn't really look too much like the movie at all, but it was still it was pretty cool when I saw that going around the track, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, there's a movie. I definitely got to go see this now. And then when I started seeing the trailers and all that, and a side note, a lot of Will Smith's and a lot of actually the main three actors, all three of them ad-libbed tons of stuff in this movie. One of my pet peeves is I can't stand actors who play the same role all the time. Jim Carrey plays
Yeah.
the same role all the time. Vinny Barbarino, I know it's not his name, but he plays Vinny Barbarino all the time. That's oh man, his name's just John Travolta. Thank you.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of what it was. John Travolta plays the same role pretty much all the time. Jeff Goldblum plays the same role all the time, but he's good at it, and it's
No,
not.
no.
and-
Jeff
and it's-
Goldblum just plays Jeff Goldblum all the time. Like,
Yes.
it's just who he is
Does
now.
But honestly, I have not seen The Fly. I know it was like one of his first movies after Buckaroo Banzai was The Fly. I've never seen The Fly. It's on my list of ones I definitely want to watch because it's like a science fiction horror type weird movie. So I definitely want to see it. But, every movie he's in, he plays that kind of quirky scientist, Jurassic Park, even in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
He kind of was that out there guy,
Yeah.
And all his pregnant pauses and the just
Yes,
Goldbluminess.
yeah. I mean, but they did a lot of ad libbing between between him and Will Smith. And you could tell. I mean, you could tell it was the '90s, and you could tell some of those one-liners were forced. A couple of them were really funny. Hey, welcome to Earth. That one was pretty good. And the one about that what's that smell? They actually were filming it in some salt mines. I think it was like in Ohio or something. I forget where exactly it was at. And the problem is that they have these little crustaceans in the bottom of like the lake, and they die basically when it gets too hot, and they just sit there. And then when the breeze comes, it just smells like horrible. And it just happened to be that's when Will Smith was walking in and dragging him, and that smell came across, and he's just like, and what is that smell? So I mean, that was an ad lib totally on that too. So anyway, well, you guys got anything else to do that? If not, we'll go ahead and talk. I'll mention our next show, and then we'll go from there. You guys got anything
Sounds
else?
good with all of our woes that we're having tonight.
Yeah, really, with all the internet, and I'm going to be interesting to watch this afterwards to see because I'm the one controlling all the buttons of whose screen or what. And
It's going to be great, Dave. It's going to be great.
Well, you know what? All I do is I take it, I download it, I put it on YouTube. I don't even edit it at all. I'm like, let's just go with it, see what happens. Okay, well, I got to go ahead and do this thing here. Make sure we let everybody know. You can find us at These Sci-Fi Guys on Twitter. You can email us at TheseSciFiGuys@gmail.com. And of course, you can find us on YouTube at These Sci-Fi Guys. So next time, let me pull this screen up here. Nope, we're not doing Independence Day. We've seen that one. We've seen this slide. Okay, so the next one is actually one of the first steampunk movies that I can remember. It's actually called Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
Nice.
Okay, it's starring Jude Law. It also has Gwyneth Paltrow, and it's also got Angelina Jolie. Jolie, thank you. Those are the main three characters. The entire movie was, or I think it was like 95% of it was all CGI. It was all done.
Wow.
In a basically a bedroom size building, and it's fantastic. You guys will really enjoy it. So, excuse me.
I see.
All right, with that, all right, guys, we're gonna say goodbye, and let me click on this other button here so we can say peace. Welcome to Earth.